Tashi is a bop who had these white boys eating out of her hands. Let's talk about Challengers.
You wish you never ever met her.
Challengers, starring the stunning and talented cast of Zendaya, Mike Fast, Joss O'Connor, is about tennis, but not just tennis. It's also about the incredibly riveting love triangle between athletes. A true love triangle at that, and we'll talk more about it in the video. In short, Luda Guadagnino tells us a story about Tasha Duncan, Arthur Donaldson, and Patrick Zweig. 3 incredible athletes looking for validation in all the wrong places. So the story begins with a tennis match between 2 best friends, Art and Patrick. But there's tension, animosity. These are 2 people that have obviously known each other for a long time, but have gone through so much. But then we learn why there's hate behind their eyes. Well, rather, who put it there? Tashi Duncan, the sexy, spiteful, sinister woman that has these boys wrapped around her finger. When Art and Patrick first meet Tashi, they knew they wanted a piece of her, but they knew they both couldn't have her, which begins the love triangle. But it's not the love triangle that we're used to seeing on the big screen. Let's first talk about Art. Arthur Donaldson is one half of the Fire and Ice duo. He wasn't 100% into Tashi at first, but then once he sees her play on the court, he is hooked head over heels. Right then and there, he falls in love with her. This is pillar 1 of the love triangle. Art is in love with Tashi. Remember that. He wants to play better for her. He's willing to do anything to get a grasp on her, including sabotaging her and Patrick's relationship. Yes, Tashi is already pitting the boys against each other when she tells them that she will date whoever wins their next match. So Arthur tries to respect this as much as he can, but he knows what he wants. The next part is where Arthur's toxicity comes in. And from what I've seen, people want to say that Arthur is innocent, but he's not. He's the one that started this entire thing.
I was listening to an interview you guys did, and it's like, yeah, all 3 of our characters are flawed. I'm like, what did Art do?
He started the whole
What did Art
thing. He started the
He
whole
starts
thing.
the whole thing. He's
What
the
the-
reason for the argument. He's the reason for the injury.
Yeah, I'm not buying
I
it.
think they could have had it all, is all I'm saying.
Listen, we're on the line here. I'm not selling
We're
it.
happy. Wait. We're happy. Then they go to Stanford.
Yeah.
I come to visit.
You're
just before I come
literally
to
just
visit.
telling the
Just
whole
before-
story, by the way. I just want to point out, you were just giving the movie away.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care. At this
Okay,
point.
so then let me ask this then.
Before,
Okay, go ahead.
what happens? He comes to me, he says, he's not in love with you.
Right.
I said, what?
Well, he wasn't lying.
But why would you? Do we know that?
And then he says to
And then
me,
he says,
My man.
that I'm not in love with her. I'm like, I am. And then he tells her that I'm not. And then she gets injured, ruins her career.
You
tells
are
me to jump in.
literally giving the movie away.
Okay. You know what? Okay, what's
and then
cool?
we see each other again, it's magic. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my
Yeah, I
god.
know, but jeez. Okay.
See, you think you're not protected, but you are.
So,
You're over here
explain
trying
this
your
to
best.
me.
My favorite
Triangles.
interview all day.
So no, Arthur isn't innocent. Imagine your friend going behind your back saying these things about you. He was doing whatever he could to get with Tashi, even if it hurt his best friend. So again, this is the beginning of the love triangle, okay? Arthur loves Tashi. Now moving on to Patrick. Patrick Star. You love Arthur, don't you? Guys, literally every scene that Patrick and Arthur were in, I just was shaking in my seat waiting for them to kiss. They only kissed the one time and I was hooked. It was more passionate and real than any relationship that they could have had with Tashi. So yeah, Patrick loves Art. This is the second pillar to our love triangle. Those little scenes that they had together without Tashi were electric. Luca Guadagnino knew what he was doing. This is the first work I've seen of his, and yes, that means I haven't seen Call Me By Your Name. Please don't kill me, but I do know about the Timothy dance, and I think that's one of the first TikToks that I had ever seen back in 2020. But anyways, Guadagnino knew how to show love, passionate lust between these 2 characters. For Patrick, his friendship with Arthur came first. He valued Arthur's presence and his opinion. What Art did to Tashi and Patrick's relationship, Patrick would have never done to Art. He respected Art, and well, like I said, he was in love with him. He was enamored with Tashi, sure, but if he could choose, he would choose to be in a relationship with Arthur. And can we talk about this one scene that's been plaguing my mind for the last 3 days? The little scene in the cafe, I think that this is where they were. When Patrick puts his foot out of the stool and just pulls the stool closer to him so that Arthur could be sitting close. That's been plaguing my mind. That right there, those subtle little moments ate down. It was literally the solidifier when it came to Patrick's crush on Art. Every time they were in a scene together, I just wanted them to kiss and forget about Tashi because she didn't even like them. So that leads us to the third pillar of our love triangle. Who does Tashi pick? Who does Tashi love? She loves tennis. Tashi will throw everything away, Art, Patrick, family, and choose tennis at the end of every day. And we see this from the very beginning of the relationship. She literally tells them that she will be with whoever wins the tennis match, meaning that she was only wanting to see a really good game. And for me, I'm like, how desperate are these men and where do I find one? Because what do you mean you're not choosing me for my personality or even my looks? You're choosing me off of a skill set that I can maybe have up until I'm 40. But anyways, like I said, at the end of every day, she just wants to see a good tennis match. So after her career-ending injury, she obviously chooses Art and starts a family with him and a multi-million-dollar company. And wait, guys, wasn't it so weird to see Zendaya portraying a mom? Because I've known her since her Shake It Up days, and it was just a new thing for me. But anyways, back to her family, building the tennis, building the company. This is the thing that mattered to her most. Tennis. If tennis was a man, she would marry him. That's why when she starts to see Art faulting and failing, she starts to love him less and less. She can tell he doesn't want to do this anymore and that he wants to retire. And she knew she didn't want to be with him if he would do something so drastic, no matter what relationship they built in the last 14 years. So yeah, we do see this love for tennis throughout the entire film, but especially during the moments right before their big tennis match at the end of the movie. In the few days before, we see the love triangle unfold. We can see Art get emotional about how he wants this to be his last year. He'll go for the Grand Slam, but he doesn't want to be one of those tennis players that don't know when to quit. He wants to be home and focus on his relationship with Tashi and his daughter. Again, he just loves Tashi, but Tashi doesn't. And she rebuttals that she'll leave him if he loses the match. She looks at him with disgust. She knows that she'll lose the last bit of respect that she has for him if he goes through with it. That's why she accepted Patrick's number in the prior scene. You know, when he asked her to coach him, because even though it was an out-of-pocket moment, Patrick knew that Tashi loved tennis more than Art. All Tashi wanted was to be one of the greats. But since her injury, she couldn't do that, and so she had to live through Art. And now that he was gonna give up all of that, she didn't want to be a part of it. So after Art tells her all of that, Tashi immediately calls up Patrick at first to ask him to throw the game, but in the end, she ends up cheating on Art with him. Again, right before the big game. So where does Patrick's love for Art come in? Patrick is loyal to Art. In the final, very intense scene, Patrick subtly tells Art about what him and Tashi did the night before. So instead of getting the girl and possibly being a famous tennis athlete, Patrick decides to be a boy's boy and tell him that Tashi is a I mean, that Tashi cheated. Gosh, let's really dive deep into this last sequence. But before we do, we really have to talk about the foreshadow that really helps pack a punch for this final scene. At the beach where Art compliments Tashi's skills, she tells him that tennis is more than a game. It's a relationship.
For about 15 seconds there, we were actually playing tennis. And we understood each other completely. So did everyone watching. It was like we were in love.
So in the last moments of Art and Patrick's game, we see their 14-year relationship unfold without them having to say a word. Once Patrick tells Art the truth, at first he's angry, feels betrayed. He hits an insanely aggressive ball near Patrick's face. But then there's a moment of realization in Art's face. And right here, I wonder what your thoughts are. I wonder what you think that Art was thinking. This is my interpretation. What are we doing here, man? Tennis meant everything to us before she came into our lives. We let her ruin what we could have been. Together, we could have been one of the greats. Together, tennis would have actually meant something to me again. This might be the last time we played together. So let's make this one hell of a game. And then he hits the ball. During the tie break, they're hitting the balls back and forth like they've never done before. And everyone is getting what they want in this love triangle. Patrick is getting a relationship with Art. Art is getting a relationship with Patrick and also getting to love tennis again. And Tashi, she's getting to watch some of the best tennis playing she has seen in a long time. The love triangle is complete. So the real question is, who do you think won the match? I think Art did because of the visceral scream that Tashi had. It was an exciting scream. She was smiling. And then also Art was the last one to hit the ball. And I think he went over the net. I think that Art won. Okay, finally, I want to talk about the actors. Let's talk about Zendaya as an actress altogether. She really is one of the best actors in our generation. According to the Detroit News, 55% of moviegoers said that they were only going to see this movie because Zendaya was in it. And I'm one of them. I don't think I would have been interested in this story if Zendaya wasn't in it. One thing to know about Zendaya is how she is truly different from the character she plays. I think nowadays some actors will choose roles that are similar to their personalities, and it makes me question if they're even good actors. However, with Zendaya, that doesn't apply. If I were to go up to 20 people and ask them where they know Zendaya from, I would probably get 20 different answers. When I see Zendaya, I don't see Rue or Cece or MJ or Tashi. I just see Zendaya, the incredible actress. She can completely distinguish herself from the character she plays. That's why I understand why it's probably extremely frustrating to hear questions like, how are the kissing scenes or the sex scenes? And she always answers so gracefully, it's my job. Zendaya's on-screen chemistry with Mike, Josh, even Timothy and Dune is riveting and beautiful. But off-screen, they could be siblings. There's no lust, no lingering looks of any kind. She's loyal to her man. This isn't Sydney Sweeney or Glenn Powell. Her performance as Tashi was really breathtaking and very convincing because it made me really hate the character of Tashi because all I wanted was Art and Patrick to be together. So one scene I want to highlight is when Patrick asks her to be his coach and Zendaya does these crazy eyes and where there's one twitching and you can tell that is when she's about to go off. And that face that she does is not something that anyone can do so flawlessly. And I just, wow, yeah. She's one of the greats. The last thing I want to talk about is Lugo Guadagnino and Sugduprum Makdimprum, the director and cinematographer of this film. Wow, did these two do what they needed to do. They did so well showing how beautiful these actors were and how they are the top 1%. See, I think in this day and age, some filmmakers are scared to show off their talent's body in the fear that they're sexualizing them when they're not, at least if you do it how these two did. And so we forget to show how beautiful people are, right? How, especially these actors, like where they look like art. The way that they were filmed, the way that these two filmmakers filmed them, made them look like art. I bet if you were to get AI and get a snapshot from this film and make it into a statue, it would look incredible. With the correct lighting for all of their skin tones and the cinematography, this movie was so beautiful to look at. I'm so ready to watch this film again. I need to. And oh, the music, people, okay? It felt like I was in the club. I was like, okay, it felt like I was in the club, okay? I have been listening to the score on repeat. I've been modeling around my apartment. Yeah, the 8 down. I didn't even know I needed to hear techno when it came to a tennis movie, but it worked. Anyways, what did you think of this movie? I give it a 10 out of 10. Perfect movie. It was better than Poor Things. That's all that matters. This isn't the only 10 out of 10 movies Zendaya has been a part of this year. Check out my Dune review right here. And also make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the movie down in the comments. But also watch my Dune review right here. Now, right here. Bye.